being certified, the EPA certification, as we all know, it's a test that, you could, read like a 30, 50 page booklet and just take a test, pass the test. But that doesn't give you any type of, actual knowledge, troubleshooting knowledge in HVAC. For some reason, it's a misconception. Everybody thinks that, if someone has that EPA card, the certification, they're actually qualified. Like they're actually having the knowledge to work on HVAC. So with that being said, Bryan, that was a kind of long, rant out here, but I couldn't help myself. With that being said, what other big misconceptions you see in our industry in apartment maintenance? What are some things that you've been doing as a from your position to influence to change the perception of others from outside looking in of the work that we do as maintenance?
EPA, I agree with you 1,000%. I think that people put that down, and unfortunately, I think that property managers, community managers, look at that and they assume, okay, this is a certified person just because they have their EPA 608. Well, to your point, Adrian, I got that when I was a part-time groundskeeper, and I got my universal certification. I never touched an air conditioning system before I got it. And I scored 100 on the type A, 100 on the type B, and an 87 on this third one. And I got a universal certification right out of the gate. I knew nothing about air conditioning. Like literally nothing. So unfortunately, there's a big misconception that means that they know how to work on and diagnose the system. It just simply isn't the case. All that means is that you know how to handle refrigerant and that you're going to do so safely and that you're not going to leak it out into the environment, right? Which is a very important certification to have. I don't want to diminish the need for it, but it does not mean that you know how to change a compressor or you know how to work on an evaporator coil, or even simpler things like replace a capacitor, or, even diagnose anything that is wrong with the system, because it does not teach you anything like that. That's misconception number one. I think misconception number two also does, and it really, I think, depends on your instructor on your CAMT, because I've been through CAMT myself and it was very fast paced. And we did not get a lot of hands-on training during the CAMT. It was more the book side of it. So I think that is also a gap that we have that I think as an industry, we should probably do a little bit better on. Getting some more hands-on training in some of these programs, because we're looking at certifications. We're assuming that people know things and we're sort of just throwing them to the wolves, so to speak. What happens on the flip side of that, and this is just natural for anybody, right? It's very difficult for you as an individual to go to your boss, to go to your manager and say, I don't know. For whatever reason, no matter how many times the leaders, the yous, the me's, the Jolises of the world say, tell us if you don't know how to do something, there's still this misconception that they're going to either get in trouble or they're going to lose their job, or they're going to, whatever the case is, because that's probably been ingrained in them from years and years of what I would like to consider probably bad leadership. It's never bad to say you don't know something. I say that I don't know something probably every single day to my boss. And I've gotten to where I'm at. You probably have said it thousands of times in your career, Adrian. Nobody knows everything. Collectively, we can get pretty darn close. And that's why we build support systems. That's why we have regional maintenance directors. That's why we have directors of maintenance. That's why we have training opportunities and all the people around us, so that we can reach out to them and say, hey, I don't know how to do this. I'm not comfortable with this. And then we, in turn, need to do a better job of saying, okay, how can I help you? How can I show you how to do it? What can I do to make you comfortable with this repair? And sometimes it's a confidence thing for them. Sometimes maybe they've only brazed a couple of times. Maybe they come from a property where you don't have washer dryers provided, and so they don't work on them. It doesn't mean that they're not capable. It just means that they just haven't had the repetition, and practice makes perfect. Like with anything, Magic Johnson or Larry Bird didn't become the greatest players in the world because, they just walked onto the court one day and just started playing basketball.